Yes, 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 yes. Hello. I am going to go super duper fast. I am so excited to be here with you all today. But the reason I'm going a little bit fast is I'm going to be working on my favorite thing, which is CSS animations. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to study with me live, or if you're watching this after the fact, thank you for being patient with my excitement. We're going to hustle really fast through the theory. And to make it a little bit different, I'm going to ask Etta to be answering your questions in the chat a bit more than usual. So please, please, please go ahead and ask any questions as we go, but we'll try and handle them in the chat unless they're like, oh gosh, how are we going to, like, if they're more widely applicable, we'll try and drag these into the stream. I'm so sorry to be rushing all of you, but I'm rushing all of you because I really like CSS animation. One thing that I'm especially excited about is I'm not very good at it. If I can model anything for y'all, it's that you do not have to be good at something to have a silly little time, and that's what we're going to do together. So we've already done CSS art, drawing with CSS. Now we're going to make that move. And there are two components that we need to make our CSS art into CSS animations. We need to use this at keyframes rule, and that's going to set the different stages of the animation and an animation property. And this doesn't make a ton of sense yet, does it? So here, we've got a keyframes. We're saying at keyframes. And here, the sliding, this is a name we've chosen. So, okay, this is going from left to right. And here, when we say keyframes, we're setting what this animation will do at different stages. So 0%, when this animation starts, it's going to transform. It's going to translate on the x-axis minus 100%. So this is going to go from left to right. What would we do if we wanted to make that go right to left? I mean, y'all can go ahead and give it a shot, but I imagine that reversing this to be 100% and going to 0. Here, this 100% is not the same as this minus 100. Here, this 100% is like at the end of this animation. Here's what I want this to do. I want the transform to be set to translate x 0. So go from left all the way to the right. Isn't this silly? So that we're going really fast. And if you haven't, obviously y'all have already done this on your own. But if you haven't, this sounds super duper abstract. Don't worry about it. I mean, don't worry too much about it. We're going to go and do some of this together super duper fast. 0% here is where the animation starts. And this 100% is the end of the animation. The transform property here is the value to translate x, and it specifies the x-axis that we're going horizontally. If we wanted this to move vertically, heck yeah, we'd use the y-axis. But this doesn't do anything so far because we've defined what the animation is, but we need to apply it to the element. So here we've got div, the class is equal to sliding element, and then hello. And here we say, hey, anybody who's got the class of sliding element, I want to apply an animation. And here I supply the name of that animation I defined in my CSS. Slide in. I want that animation to take 2 seconds. I want it to sort of ease out at the end, and we'll get a couple different options for that. And infinite, I want this to keep going. So the animation property will need the name of the keyframe rule we define, the duration, how long we want it to take. We can say animation timing function. You want to be eased, do you want to be linear, do you want to ease in, ease out? If we want to delay before the animation starts, whether or not to play it forwards, backwards, or back and forth, how many times to do it, how to style the element before and after the animation, and yeah, whether or not the animation is sort of paused or running. So here's a really common one, which is, where are we? Where are we? Oh, folks in the chat are like, oh, is this a silly question? What is a silly question? Somebody made a really, really good point. Who did that? Somebody saying, they're saying, hey, do you know what? Maybe there are silly questions, but do you know what? If we're just being silly with computers and having a silly little time, what's better than a silly question? Joyous. So here we've got a class for traffic lights set to an element. We've got a width, a height. We've got a bit of padding. They've got a solid black 4-pixel border around them. 50% border radius, that's going to be round. And we've got an animation name here. It's going to be color change. It's going to take 5 seconds for this animation to complete. The animation timing function is going to be linear. So it's just going to go relatively stable. It's going to delay 1 second before animating. It's going to go infinite, but it'll go through the animation one direction and backwards once. So here we've got all this defined, but we also need to define out our keyframes. So, okay, the keyframes for our animation named color change, we're good, we're good. At 0%, that background's going to start as red. By the time we get to 50%, I want that background color to go orange. By the time the animation is done, 100%, I want that background color to be lime green. And then, because we've got an animation direction alternate, we should see red, green, orange animating, and then green, orange, red. Let's see what this feels like. I think this is delightful, but we don't want to use too many animations. It's performance demanding and it's not super duper accessible. So there's some folks who've, let's talk about accessibility in that. So like anything, like any decisions we make when we're building stuff for the web, we need to think really critically about the impact on accessibility. When we're using animations, it is super cool. It is really fun. But for some folks, movement on the screen can make them dizzy or nauseous. It can give them headaches, or it can just be really distracting for folks with different kinds of cognitive needs. Oh, and have y'all ever, excuse me, Bubba, it's too hot to be in the window, sir. My apologies. My worst cat has put himself in a sunny window and is crying because it's too hot. When you do animations, be really careful to not have things flashing. If you've ever seen a sort of warning at the start of a show or a movie that says, hey, there's flashing lights here that can be bad for some people, you don't want to accidentally trigger folks who have photosensitive issues too, who could possibly have seizures or just really challenging times. Y'all don't want to do that. A user can set requests to have minimal animations. And when we want to write CSS that respects that, we can use preferred reduced motion media query. Say, hey, here's a media query, which instead, which last time we've used this was about, mostly about the screen sizes, the viewports people were using. But here we're saying, hey, if my user is viewing my content, is viewing my webpage, and they prefer reduced motion, reduce it. The animation here is 0.1 milliseconds, not even going to show. The animation count, just 1. The translation duration, 0.1 milliseconds. And the scroll behavior here is auto. This is going to minimize the animation, but doesn't actually stop it. If you want to stop it, you can set it to none. Here we've got the animated element. The transition, it's going to transform. It's going to take 0.3 seconds to ease in and out. But do you know what? And I'd love to see y'all doing this because this is the right thing to do. We're going to set a media query to say, if our user has set prefers reduced motion to reduce, We're going to take these animated elements and have no transition. We don't need to have any animation for folks who don't need it. Okay, let's go. The faster we go, the more penguin time we can spend. So I'm going to go out of order, and we're going to go really fast through building an animated Ferris wheel. We are going to straight up skip some of the steps, which I'm excited about. If it's okay, we'll look very, very briefly at Build a Moon Orbit. But what we are going to do is skip ahead to tomorrow and start building a Flappy Penguin, if that's okay. Flappy Penguin is my favorite. So let's come over here. We're going to be building an animated Ferris wheel. I am already cheating. I've already skipped step 1 because step 1 was add your style sheet. Y'all know I would never, ever forget to link my style sheet in my HTML. But here, what we're going to do is asking us to make a div within our body and give it a class of wheel. And inside that, create 6 span elements with a class set to line, 6 div elements with a class set to cabin. I'm going to go ahead and skip to 3 because what we're doing here is we're making the divs for the structure of our, here we're making the divs for the structure of our Ferris wheel. We'll look at them real fast. So we've got a div with a class of wheel. Inside it, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. They've all got the class of line. We don't see them yet because we haven't set those CSS rules. And then we've got these cabins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we still don't see them. Up here, oh, I'm so sorry. Do you know what? I think we're going to skip this one too, if that's okay, because talking through this, we're going to create a selector for our wheel element, set a border to 2 pixels solid black. And what we're doing here is we're drawing a big black circle. We've talked about it and we'll look at it right here, but this is stuff we've done before. Set the position property of .wheel to absolute. We've done this before a couple times. And set the height and width both to 55 VW. Remind me, what would oh, I don't know how to ask this right. What would 55 viewport width VW correspond to? Yeah, I'm going to skip this one as well. We're going to talk through it as we see it, but we see this position absolute. It's not moving anywhere. We've got our height and width set to 55. Here, the next thing it wants is us to set a max height and max width, but we're going to keep bopping along because we've done this a couple times. Yeah. Thank you so much, after my own heart. Here it's saying, hey, this 55%, both for width and height, is going to be setting it to 55% of the viewport width, but no bigger, the maximum of 500 pixels, both width and height. Here, step 6, we're going to create a selector for our line elements and start drawing those. I'm going to be cruel. I'm going to keep skipping the CSS we've done before. Here we've got our line, background color black, 50%, 2 pixels. We don't see those lines yet because we haven't sort of positioned them. Let's set our position to absolute. We've done this before, but we're going to go super fast. Left to 50% and top to 50%. Oh gosh, I should check my code because we're still not. Oh, you would like me to spell absolute correctly, I bet. Yeah, we're fine. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I've left you on the screen. So now, I'm not sure we've done transform origin yet. Transform origin is a property which we can use to set the point around which a CSS transformation is applied. Okay, that seems weird. But work with me, work with me. We have one line here, right? Yeah, sort of a very, very unimpressed Pac-Man looking deal. What we're going to do is we're going to set a point around which we can rotate the positioning of these other lines. And this is going to feel abstract as heck. So let's just do it. And y'all yell at me. So here, the transform origin And that sounds really technical. That sounds really scary. This transform origin is saying, hey, here's the point around which I want to set some transforms, around which I want to set some rules for a little dance. I'm going to set it to 0% and 0%. And what this is going to do is it's going to set it 0% from the left and 0% from the top, setting at the top left corner of the element. So 0% is, we start at the left. We always go left to right when we're laying stuff out in HTML. That's not a problem. We're starting all the way on the left. We're not moving at all. And then our y-axis, where we would go up and down, we're also staying in that top corner. We're not going down at all. Let's check our code, and we're just fine. So here, we're going to create a selector to set our second, oh, okay. So our second line property. Gosh, We want to set that for the second element. It could be the child pseudo class, maybe? Oh gosh, somebody remind me what so we want the second instance. We could say, yeah, we probably want the nth of type. Nth of type? I'm just in, oh gosh. If it's helpful, I am here in the pseudo classes. Oh gosh, let me grab that. MDN. Oh gosh, you can't see me a bit. I'm so sorry, loves. So I'm in here in the pseudo classes because I think I want the nth of, Nth, thank you. Nth of type. Yeah, that looks like that should work okay. This is giving us some additional, nth child maybe? I think nth of type. Let's give this a shot. It would come all the way back to an animated Ferris wheel. And this is a pseudo class. I'm sounding very, very confident, aren't I? Isn't this very real? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. And if this isn't right, this cannot hurt us a bit. And we're going to set the transform property to rotate 60 degrees. And the thing I really, really like is if this is wrong, it can't hurt us a single bit. Check out, oh heck! You like how incredibly surprised I am that this worked? So it's because I am joyously rubbish at remembering CSS syntax. What we've got here is we've got our line class, and here we've got our nth of type. So I want to say, hey, I want to set a, oh heck, please come back. Thank you. I want to set a rule for the second, thank you. The second line that you see, here's the two. I want to transform it. I want to rotate it 60 degrees from that origin point, transform origin point we set here. Okay, let's keep Haha. The bootcamp is free. Free Code Camp is free. But if you do have the cash and if you found Free Code Camp useful, they're also a registered nonprofit. So we're completely separate, the bootcamp and Free Code Camp. So none of the cash goes to us, and it shouldn't. But if don't spend money you all don't have, but if you do decide that it's really, really useful for you, donating to Free Code Camp can be a lovely thing to do. I'm so sorry. What I'm going to do here is we're going to draw the rest of our lines. I'm just going to show you what that would look like. So we'd say 3 and rotate it 120 degrees. And it's going to go ahead and draw all of these out. All right, but me typing all of these out is not a good use of your time. So I'm going to skip ahead to skip step 11. So here we are going to draw our cabin. We're going to set the background color to red, the width to 20%, and the height to 20%. But we're going to skip ahead to step 2 and look at what that looks like because we've done this before. Yeah. We're going to set the position here because we're going to start doing the positioning parts a little bit hard. The position to absolute. Okay. We're going to draw a border around that. Check our code. And I bet you $1 what we're going to do next is a really similar transform. Fantastic. We've got our transform origin. Going to set to, and it's different this time. Oh, love when it's different. 50% and 0%. So what this is going to do is say, hey, you can move this left 50%, but we're going to keep this right at the top. You are not going to move this a bit. That's going to be our starting point for where these transforms will happen. Now, yes, it's going to be fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. We are going to position the cabins around the wheel. And just like with the lines, I'm going to do the first one with you, but then we're going to skip ahead just a little bit because I want to focus on the animation part, just because that's going to feel new. So we've got our cabin class, and we've got the column because it's going to be the pseudo class for of type. We're going to set that to 1. We're going to do the first one. And here we're just going to do the positioning. The right is going to be set to minus 8.5%. Oh, cool. So we've got the first one. This is going to, we don't have the first one and the second one. Why? Let's look at our HTML. Y'all tell me what you think is going on here, because I think this is really exciting. All of a sudden we have 2 of these, but we don't. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why does moving this give us 2 of them all of a sudden? Where were these? And the top is going to be set to 50%. Oh, gosh. Hey, so that question, so the offset in the lines is interesting. I think we address this later on, but I don't know what monopolar means. So it's an exciting word, but I'm so sorry I don't know it. So here we're going to check our code. But yeah, one question I have is, heck yeah, Mel's got me, where I was like, hey, where are, like, we made 6 different cabins. Where are they? They're all stacked on top of each other, like playing cards. And as we move them, we just pull them out of the stack. Here, we've got a little positioning activity, and I'm going to skip this. I'm going to jump to step 16 because I want us to really, really focus on the stuff that's brand new. Here, okay, the keyframes at rule is used to define the flow, okay? We talked about this in the theory, but theory's hard. You could set selectors for specific points in the animation series, or use from to define the start and end of a sequence. You've got to name your keyframes. Let's go ahead and do that. So, oh, this is brand new. This is horrible. It's not. It's new, but it can't hurt us. So we've got a keyframes named wheel. And, oh gosh, where are you? Let's go ahead and set our little guys there. Okay, this is brand new. Gosh, that question is incredibly interesting. I am still not sure. This is, I would have to ponder this deeply and look up. Yeah. Oh, possibly. So, hang on, one thing at a time. I'm getting very distracted by a really interesting question that has some concepts that I'm not familiar with. So, in order to define what our animation does at different points, we're going to need to set these percentage rules, these keyframe rules. So here's what it would look like if we wanted to turn something green 12% of the way through an animation. But that's not it. Okay, so in here, I want to set a 0% rule. Oh, heck. And these have sort of nested curly braces as well. Oh, gosh, y'all are answering each other's questions, and thank you. Although I'm still going to be saving that question and looking up some of the concepts in it. So we're going to start with the rule, and at 0%, we are going to transform it by rotating it. Not at all. And this seems weird to say, hey, we're going to start by doing nothing. But what this means is when the user first experiences your animation, that it's not going to be moving until they take a look at it. So that's what it's going to look like when we start. What's this going to look like? What are the sort of keyframes rule at the end of it? Okay, so here, the transform is going to rotate 360 degrees. Great. So here I'm saying, hey, when this animation starts, no movement. But when it's done, I want you to have rotated 100% around this wheel. Okay. But y'all might notice that this still isn't animating. So that's we need to do a couple of things. We need to come into our wheel and we need to link that CSS keyframe, those keyframes we just wrote, we need to put it in a class where it's applied to our elements. Or it could be an ID as well. Or I suppose it could be a type selector if you wanted to apply an animation to all of your H2s, for example. But I'd probably fuss at you because that's a lot of animation. Okay, let's set the animation name. And the animation name is used to link the keyframes rule to the elements it's being applied to. Here, it's wheel. You might be like, but the class is also called wheel. We could have the animation name be a different name, I believe. But here, we're keeping it the same to make it, I guess, human readable. So got our animation name. So we said, hey, when you're looking at like browser, when you're looking to apply these CSS rules, here's a heads up. I want to apply an animation. Go and look for keyframes that have the name of wheel. If we come all the way down here, we got the keyframes of the name of wheel. The browser's going to say, I got you. I see this animation here, and I'm going to apply it all the way back. Oh gosh. In the wheel class with the other things you've asked for. We're going to set an animation duration, how long we want this animation to take. So here we could set it in seconds or milliseconds, and we're going to set ours to 10 seconds. And as soon as we do that, we're seeing it move. Love it. Although, if this was a real Ferris wheel, oof, blood and carnage. Like those cabins not moving, a little bit scary. We're to check our code, and hopefully in the next couple of steps, we're going to get those cabins moving around. So we've got a little bit less carnage. Here we can also set the animation. By default, the animation iteration count is 1, but here we can set it to infinite. Okay. So here, these people trapped in this Ferris wheel that's constantly dumping them upside down, they're going to go forever. Horrific. And we also have an animation timing function. So if you notice right now, our animation kind of slows down and stops at the end. And that's because we've set our keyframes 0 rule to not be moving. So it goes around, slows down and stops, goes again. But here, we're going to set this to linear. We're going to spell linear right. We're going to set this to linear to say, hey, once you start moving, go ahead and continue to go same rate start to finish. We'll check our code, and things continue to be okay. Again, everything's stressful, but this, not so bad. We're going to do the exact same thing over again to see if we can get those cabins also moving. Oh gosh, we're going to actually do that right, huh? It's a keyframes rule. Oh, okay. And I love this because this is just telling us to copy. I love to copy. So it says go and copy your 0 and 100%. But for our 100%, we're going to reverse the order. So this is going the 360 degrees in the opposite direction. And y'all might notice that this has not done a thing yet. And that's because we've defined the keyframes. We still haven't linked it to where it's going. Oh gosh, and the keyframes is the name of cabins, isn't it? Let's check this. Oh. Let's go ahead and so we've got our cabin. Ooh, we've got a shorthand. So we can set the animation property here. Let's look at these side by side. So y'all remember how if we set padding, we can set 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 2 pixels, 6 pixels, 5 pixels. We can set a shorthand to set top, right, bottom, left. We can also use a shorthand like this in setting animation. So if we set the animation property to cabins, 10 seconds, linear, and infinite, what it's going to do is it's going to set the animation name first, the animation duration second. So the same order we did these in for, where are you? The same order we did these in for wheel. So first we have the animation name, then the animation duration, then the iteration count, and then the timing function, and the animation iteration, animation duration, function, and count. I wonder why these are in different order. I probably typed them in a silly order. But where are we? Who are we? Our animation here. If we set this cabins, 10 seconds, linear, and infinite, it just, not magically, but through the power of syntax, knows where we're going. It knows what we want. And we've got a couple little steps here. We've got an ease in and out timing function. So right now our cabins look a little clunky. Let's change this from linear to an ease in and out and see what that feels like. Okay, so when it starts animating, it starts off a little slower. And then when it's coming back to the 360 rotation, the cabins are moving a little bit easier and hopefully bonking people against the roof of that Ferris wheel a little bit less often. So the keyframes can control more than just the transformation. In the 0%, let's set this to yellow. So we're in the 0. This is going to be the start of the animation. Our background color of the elements that are being attached, that are being associated with the animation of cabins are going to have a background color of yellow when they start. Oh, and by default, it's going to go from yellow to the red that we have it set to. Ooh, kind of flashes right back to yellow a little aggressively, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. So I'm so sorry that I think that trying to show you dev tools on streaming, it does not work especially well with my setup. I'm getting some invalid URL errors on this. Yeah, I'm so sorry that that's not working especially well just with the, I would love to show you this in DevTools. It is not especially easy to do while streaming. My apologies. I would recommend trying this on y'all's side to see if that feels okay. My apologies. So let's add a 50% here. Oh, heck. And this is just going to give us a little bit more going on with this animation. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. In order to stream, I've got to use a reasonably specific browser, which is not my browser of choice. And it is stressing. It is reasonably challenging to try and get. Okay. Trying to show, yeah, my apologies. So yes, looking at this in DevTools and poking around can be a really good way to do it. Unfortunately, the setup we have today is probably not going to be super helpful. Okay, got a 50% background color is purple. Sorry to be so rude. And from here, actually, I'm going to go ahead and abandon you again. So after this, we've got an infinite loop. We're going to sort of ease in some of these. But I'm going to let you all play with these on your own because I want to talk really, really quickly through the moon orbit project. And the reason I want to talk really, really quickly through this is then I want to just start getting the very, very basics outlined for the Flappy Penguin. I'm so sorry to have a favorite child, but Flappy Penguin is my absolute favorite project, and we'll do it tomorrow. And this sounds real, real weird because I'm grown and should have different goals my Friday night. I am so excited to be on a Friday night with y'all and do the Penguin. I don't know if you all, like, as children or as adults, have like a stuffed animal or a little toy or a little character that you're just like, this is my friend. I've anthropomorphized this. I love this. Flappy Penguin is my little internet friend, y'all. But before Flappy Penguin, we have to talk about, actually, some of y'all are really going to love this. We are going to be asked to, on your own, practice some of these CSS animations and build a project that meets these requirements. You're going to do a yeah, an orbit, not necessarily lunar, not necessarily. Moons are. Oh, it is lunar. Moons orbit around the Earth using HTML and CSS. Love this. Let's just look real closely at the user stories very, very quickly, and then we're getting right to that penguin. So this will probably take you a little bit of time. There's no strong deadlines. Everything's okay. So you got to use Flexbox layout. All right. Here it's defining the divs and the classes you need to have in order to draw them like we did for the Ferris wheel we've just done. Okay. We're going to still orbit element. We're going to have another div, our moon. Okay, we're still drawing our divs and we're setting what the sizes should be. Oh gosh, we've got folks who are excited for the moon project. So I'm really sorry there's not a ton of spaces for this to be really different and creative, but Mel's like, look, I'm going to use weird gradients. No one can stop me. I'm going to have the weirdest little time. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Anytime y'all want to have an additionally silly little time past the requirements, yes. We got divs and positioning, divs and positioning. Okay, we got space should be relatively positioned. Earth should be absolutely positioned. Here we're going to talk about where to focus that. Size of Earth, size of the orbit. So there's a little bit of space for creativity in how you color these, but this is a pretty on the rails lab. I'm sorry, team. I mean, if you want to build something sillier and stranger after this, yeah. Then we're going to start doing the transforms around the orbits. This is going to feel a lot like what we just did. The orbital path around the, oh, that's a question. Fellow beloved nerds, is I is the lunar orbit around the Earth perfectly circular? I'm nerd sniping. I'm nerd sniping. Like perfectly circular seems a bit bold. So this user story defines the orbital path, some more positioning for the moon, making sure the Earth is round and it has a color. So the moon is round, it has a color. And then here we want a 5-second linear animation that goes indefinitely for your keyframes orbit. So all of this is set up until you get to step 16. And look at this, vicious, vicious, savage. Because this piece of documentation was written just for me, make sure to link your style sheet to your HTML and apply your CSS. Okay, let's talk about what's important. Let's talk about what we're doing tomorrow. What we are doing tomorrow is this fluffy penguin, and I love her so much. We're going to draw this penguin. We're going to do a couple of the steps today together. It's going to be super chill. I love folks in the chat who are like, it's not a circle. It's like the lunar orbit is not a perfect circle. Come on, Jess. So we're going to draw this penguin. We're going to start animating her. I am such a big fan of her. And I'm going to have to go in about 10 minutes. So we're going to just get a little bit of a head start on this as well. Oh, and already we've got folks saying, yeah, sure, this is great, but I want to give my penguin a sun hat. I cannot I'm going to try and be impartial. Of course, we are never going to check your work. We never ever going to ask to see what you've done. And we're not going to ask you to like build additional projects in your free time. There's so much things to do. But if you do, take your code from this, put it someplace where you can see it, and start doing silly things with this penguin, like giving her sunglasses or putting her like in a nice resort. I would love to see it. I want good things to happen to her. Okay, no. Okay, link your style sheet to the page. Fine. We're going to skip that because we know how to do that. We're going to hop to step 2. And look, just so we remind ourselves, and I remind ourselves as me, we got link rel style sheet. Yeah, I would have remembered anyway. So let's look at what we've got here. We've got the body element. Oh, and that's it. So here, we're going to set the body element. Oh, heck, we're going to actually type things right. And y'all are so patient for me saying, we're going to go as quickly as we can to get a head start on this penguin. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we're going to set this to a linear gradient, which is a type of function. And it's really easy to remember it. Some of y'all are like, I want to do linear gradients for the moon. Yes, do linear gradients for the moon. For those of us who always forget the syntax for a linear gradient, MDN has got us. Everything's terrible, but this can't hurt us. The linear gradient here is going to be set to, so the functions, we've got those smooth braces. I'm going to set that to Gosh, I've just linked the syntax and I've absolutely forgot it. Okay. So we've got our start and end. This is looking right. This doesn't feel right, but this often doesn't feel right. And then we also want 45 degrees clockwise. Heck. Oh, gosh. Then we want 45 degrees. Is clockwise the default? Oh, gosh. Oh. Y'all really patient. Thank you. Okay, so our background's a linear gradient, 45 degrees. Thank you. It was indeed. So Lucy is just so patient in the chat. Like, Jess, come on. You're defining a linear gradient, but it's not set to anything. And thank you. Ooh, got somebody in the chat saying, oh, you know what? When we were talking about the moon being a perfect circular orbit, that's not really possible because heavenly bodies and all of these celestial objects, if you want a less poetic, are always exerting some kind of forces on each other. So we've got like the push and pull that we see in our lives also. Check our code, the background. I am using the background property in the body selector. So that's 45 degrees. Okay, good to know. One extra comma and 1%. This is why we were hustling to try this out. We're going to do one more point, and then we are going to head off in just a couple minutes. We're going to set the margin to 0, and we're going to set the padding to 0. Oh, we're going to use the appropriate syntax. And now we're going to also add the right size here. So the width is going to be 100% of the, just 100%. So that's 100% of the parent element. And the height is going to take up 100% of the viewport height. We can do that. Okay, so like, hey, I want this linear gradient, but don't go start it somewhere weird because you've got that extra padding and margin. I want this linear gradient to fall over the viewport available to it. This is a good time to go ahead and say goodbye for the day. So again, if you've got the cash, Free Code Camp is a registered nonprofit, and it is really, really nice to donate to them. I am never, ever going to try and tell adults who I'm not mentoring or related to what to do. So I would suggest y'all not spend money you don't have. But if you do have the cash and found their curriculum useful, donating can be a really nice thing to do. We are going to, no. Y'all, I do not have $20 a month not right now. But we're going to come back tomorrow, and we do have 10 minutes. I'm so sorry that I have to run to get to a class. I'm going to let y'all go for today, and we're going to spend a heck ton of time on this when we come back. I'm so sorry, team, and thanks for your patience. I'll let you go. Bye.